Welcome, mothers of alumni. It sounded like the cicadas had come earlier, and I didn't know what the noise was, but it was excited mothers of alumni. We're so happy that you're here. I can't tell you how much it means to start flexing and having events. I know we missed it last year, but it's great to get this back on the calendar. The Mothers of Alumni Luncheon is one of my favorite things. I see so many familiar faces, and it's great to see the faces, all of them, not just the eyes. And I love to come home from this event with lipstick all over me, and Nancy says, "What happened?" I said, "It was the Mothers of Alumni Lunch." They can't help themselves sometimes, honey. But I want to give a brief update on, and Cheryl's laughing at me. She knows that's not true. I want to give a brief update on Brad Joyah. Camille and I spoke with him this morning. He's doing well. He wanted me to convey to you that he's sorry he couldn't make it, but many of you know his cancer has come back, and he is in the middle of what is known as CAR-T treatment, CAR-T treatment. And it basically involves removing white blood cells, re-engineering them with protein to attack lymphoma. So they have put the blood cell, they've re-engineered, they put the blood cells back, and he's in the process of rebooting his immune system. So he's about halfway through this process, and our hope with prayer and your thinking about him is that he's back by graduation, which is scheduled to be 2 weeks from today on June 3rd. So we have a great program lined up for you. We have some singers that will come in a bit. We have 2 of the students are here already. They're anxious to get out of their exams, so they're over here prematurely. Actually, these guys don't have to take exams, Mr. Gall and Mr. Wilbanks. We have 2 more coming. They're going to, it's the president of the Honor Council, president of the student body, president of the service club, and president of the senior class. Is that right? So you'll hear from each of them in a minute. For now, we want everyone to get going on their meal. They're going to serve lunch right away. And then in about another 20 or 30 minutes, I'll get back up and we'll proceed with the program. So thanks for being here. All right. Welcome again. I think we're going to try to get started with the program part of the show today. We're going to start with a performance from a subset of the Headmaster Singers. We have 3 sophomores and a junior. Michael Colavita is the director. The singers are, I think I have that for you because I know you'll want to know. And if you could just wave, Aiden Connolly, sophomore, Henry Lee, sophomore, Carter Welch, sophomore, and then Roman Urbanski is the junior. So if y'all would come on up, they're going to sing Heart of My Heart, and then we'll have our student speaker.
Heart of my heart, I love you. Life would be not without you. Light of my life, my darling, I love you. I love you. I can forget you never. From you I ne'er can sever. Say you'll be mine forever. I love
All right, so now typically we have a guest speaker, but we thought we'd do something different. This has been an unusual year, and we thought it might be fun for you guys to hear from our students about some of the experiences that they've had this year. So we have the president of the Honor Council, the president of the Service Club, the president of the senior class, and the president of the student body. And I think we're going to start in order. We'll start with Eman. Emmanuel is the president of the Honor Council. He's going to give you a few remarks. He won an award last night. They had Leavers dinner, and he won an award. Come on up, Eman, last night. He is generally regarded as the most sought student speaker that we have. He's done this before, and you'll see he'll do a great job today. Thanks, Eman.
Thank you, and yes, it's very timely that I'm up here for one last time after winning that award, most likely to speak at an event. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Emmanuel Barrett, and I served as the president of the Honor Council this past school year. Inching closer to my final days on the Hill, my preparation for this speech gave me the opportunity to reflect on not only my senior year, but also my time as an MBA student starting in the 7th grade, and all the relationships and memories created along the way. In the short time that I have today, it's truly difficult to capture all the wonderful aspects of MBA which have shaped me into the young man I am today. However, I'll do my best to provide a snapshot of what truly makes up my MBA experience. Walking the halls of Massey as a little 7th grader with glasses and braces, I was overwhelmed by a whole new world of students, teachers, rules, and opportunities. Within just a few days, any feelings of nervousness disappeared because how the teachers presented themselves as not only role models, but close friends. This unique student-teacher relationship proved to be a continuing factor throughout my MBA career. I want to give a particular shout out to my high school advisor and best friend, Dr. Boyd. He's been with me through it all, whether it's helping me make questions for an interview or writing my college recommendation. He's always been in my corner cheering me on. He'll even pick up the phone at 9 p.m. whenever I need something to show his dedication to supporting me. The sense of community at MBA between all of the grades makes it feel like a home away from home. I remember the summer after my 7th grade year when I was heading to a leadership retreat at Long Mountain. Since I was a rising 8th grade Honor Council representative, I was the youngest student on the retreat among a bunch of teachers and giant upperclassmen. Arriving at the gym stairs, realizing that I knew none of the students there, I got nervous and almost wished I had an excuse to not go. Noticing that I'm the new junior school representative, the older Honor Council officers took it upon themselves to get to know me and make sure that I felt included. From that point on, I felt like I was hanging with my closest friends. Whether I was chilling with the seniors and juniors on the high ropes course or competing in the annual canoe race, they embraced me as one of their own. This sense of brotherhood permeates through all facets of MBA, whether it's sports, academics, or extracurriculars. One of the reasons that I enjoyed my time on the Honor Council so much is that I had 11 other older students to look up to and respect. Seeing such passionate and exceptional students such as Jackson McFadden, Will Peters, or Matthew Kaplan, just to name a few, encouraged me to push myself toward success. I would be remiss if I did not mention some of the best opportunities that I've taken advantage of at MBA. At the top of my list are Wilson Grants and extracurriculars. I cannot stress enough how much summer Wilson Grants have changed my life. Being able to go on top academic camps at Stanford, Brown, and UPenn with students from all around the world have exposed me to other cultures and given me connections with people from all around the world. In fact, we just had a Big Brother, Little Brother event, and we were asked to tell our 7th grade little brother something that he should take advantage of at MBA that would be at the top of our list. And I said, Wilson Grants. You must invest in Wilson Grants. And I truly mean that these Wilson Grants develop everlasting relationships because I'm actually roommating with one of my friends that I met at that camp the summer of my 7th grade year. No material or gift can replicate the joy and memories that I felt anticipating the camp, then enjoying the actual camp, and then looking back on what I just experienced. A particular extracurricular that I've become invested in is Tearing Down the Walls Club, a club which I founded last year and I'm the president of this year. To sum it up, Tearing Down the Walls is a club which promotes constructive conversations on social justice and uplifts marginalized communities. We have speakers at assembly, host panel discussions, write in the school's paper, and host monthly meetings to put these conversations of inclusion at the forefront. After all, MBA believes in being a gentleman, and that requires us to respect each other despite our differences. Mr. Kelly has been an instrumental force in my leadership of TDW, guiding me along the way, but knowing when to step back to help me build my leadership skills. I appreciate MBA providing me with the resources and space to lead TDW, because working on unifying MBA's campus has truly been a fulfilling experience. The largest club in the school, with over 230 members, we have generated a following of people who actively want to make MBA a better place for those who might feel ostracized or isolated. All of our events resonated with me, but a particular one sticks out because I partnered with my friend Jason Zhu, who's the president of the Asian Cultural Club, to build a panel focusing on the unique experience of being Asian American, which was MBA's first ever event to focus on this topic, really resonated with me, and I also got to working with alongside a fellow senior and bonding over this experience helped me develop my empathy for others. One might have thought that senior year with the pandemic in the backdrop would surely make this year lackluster. Well, that was certainly not the case. We did not just get through this year, we persevered. As soon as we got out of hybrid learning, the brotherhood was getting back into full swing. The reduced size at assemblies, limited spectators at games, and a canceled homecoming were definitely minuses. Yet we proved that we would fully enjoy the things that we did get, whether that's making prom a night to remember, or even last night at Leavers Dinner, toasting to our memories as a class together. The class of 2021 proved that nothing can stop us from being our energetic and optimistic selves. As I head off to UPenn next year, I will reminisce on my days at MBA and know that my classmates and teachers helped set me up to get there. Thank you.
All right, next up is going to be Beau Wilbanks. Beau is president of the senior class, and Beau's got a little added pressure on him today because his mom may or may not be in the crowd. All right, Beau.
So I know I'm not an alumni yet, but my mom cheated and she came today, so here she is. So I wrote this speech yesterday, actually. So, Mom, you're welcome. It only took 6 years, but the procrastination's gone. I finally am working ahead. I didn't write it this morning. But anyways, hi, my name is Beau Wilbanks, and I am the senior class president this year. I love seeing a great crowd today here, but I will admit, when Mr. Johnson told me it was the largest crowd ever, I was a bit nervous. However, it is an honor to speak for everyone, in front of everyone today, and it feels like a sense of normalcy is coming back to the campus after the year we just had. This year has been hard for everyone, but I applaud MBA for their work making this school year as normal as possible. My MBA in the pandemic experience began way back in June when the football team began our summer workouts on campus. We split into position groups of around 15 people where we would go in different workout stations on the soccer and football fields. And while we weren't able to use the locker room and the weight room, our coaches did all they could to make the summer workouts as close to the real thing as possible, while also trying to maintain social distancing protocols. Due to this great work and due diligence, we finished our season playing most of our games and had 0 COVID cases throughout the year, which most schools cannot say. Playing most of my senior football season was extremely important to me, as it was a culmination of years of work leading up to that year. From my 7th grade until my junior year season, I didn't play a down of football. I played football, but I never got on the field. I'm talking barely even touching the field during a blowout. But I love football very much, and it's an important part of my family. My grandfather played football at the University of Alabama, and my dad played football his entire life, so it was almost a given that I was going to play football one day. While it was easy to get discouraged, getting on the field not being on the field for all those years, I stuck with it because of the life lessons I learned from football that mattered to me the most. Learning how to deal with adversity, the values of teamwork, and even how to get yelled at and how to accept that. It's these traits that I will carry with me in the future and something I will use almost every day next year when I take this next step in my life at Texas Christian University. However, I also wanted to finish my football career where I played meaningful minutes for the team I watched every Friday night since I was in first grade. And because we were able to have a season, my hard work paid off, and I was able to start at safety this year and had the most fun of my life. Being a senior is a unique experience on and off the field, and to do it with the ones I love the most is something I will cherish forever. This is what I believe makes NBA different from any other school, because most of these experiences would not have happened anywhere else. We have a genuine love for each other here, and we pick our brothers up when they're down. NBA has taught me the importance of loving your neighbor and what amazing things you can accomplish when you're part of a brotherhood like this one. Thank you.
All right, next up is Daniel Gall. He has even more pressure on him than Beau because both Daniel's mother and grandmother are here, both legally.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Gall, and I'm the president of the student body, and I'm going to Vanderbilt next year. Today, I want to walk you through my MBA journey in the most authentic and genuine way I know how. Not with the usual cliches about brotherhood and the community on the Hill, which are all true, but they don't get the true crux of the day-to-day MBA experience. There's no one person in my life that has heard more about my day-to-day experience at MBA than my mom. Every day until the spring of my sophomore year, my mom would pick me up from practice, and we'd have the same exact conversation. Hi, Daniel. How was your day? It was good, Mom. And I think most of y'all know what I'm talking about if you've had this same conversation with your son. And thinking about it, I've boiled it down into 3 different presentations of this phrase, it was a good day. The first one is, it was a good day, which means it wasn't a good day. It was, an average day. Then there's, it was a good day, which means it was a normal day. Then there's, it was a good day, Mom, which means it was a great day. This first pronunciation often leads to me telling my mom about a test I'd failed or a friend that I'd had trouble with, and sometimes I'd go too far, and she'd be like, well, Hillsborough would love to have you, Daniel, and I'd be like, okay, all right. But what I love about my mom is that she'd always give me perspective and make me feel grateful for everything I have, even when I'm trying to vent to her about my bad day. But my mom has seen me through late night theme grinds, Friday night football wins, exams, poetry recitations, state championship losses, struggle with friends, and the ups and downs of MBA life. MBA is extraordinary in the fact that it can build you a community of support through your teams, classmates, teachers, and it also compels you to build that same trust and bond when you go home. I have no doubt in my mind that my mom and I are 10 times closer because of my experiences at MBA. MBA has taught me how to be empathetic at the most difficult of times, how to think critically when emotion and haste are trying to drive my decisions, create friendships, and even grow stronger the ones I've already had. My mom has taught me how to appreciate MBA in all its highs and lows, how to cherish every second I've gotten with my classmates, every funny and interesting interaction and moment I've had on this campus, because my time on the Hill is officially coming to a close, which truly makes me sad. But I know my mom and MBA have prepared me well for the next stage of life. And I think I can accurately summarize my time at MBA by saying, I love my mom and I love MBA. Thank you.
So finally, last up is Cooper Azniski. Come on up, Cooper. Cooper won 2 awards last night. One, I think, was legit, and I don't know about the second one. But the legit one is quite amazing. He had over 5,000 hours of service recorded. Is that the right number? Yeah. since he was at MBA. So he's president of the Service Club. You're going to hear from him now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cooper Azniski, and as Mr. Johnson just said, I was the Service Club president for the class of 2021. Now, even saying this now, it's kind of an odd sentence for me. When I first stepped on the Hill as a 7th grader, I never thought I'd be in a position of leadership at this school. I remember looking at those little directory books that our advisors give us and seeing the 4 representatives for the class of 2016 on it. I thought this was the coolest thing ever. These boys were chosen by their friends to represent their class. This was something I knew I immediately wanted to do, but never knew if I would actually be able to do it. Now, my mother, who is sitting up there filming me right now, is the type of woman who gets way too excited when little things happen to one of her 3 boys. For example, many of y'all may remember when your sons attended the Leavers dinner. It was basically the last send-off before graduation, where the graduating class sits down and all has dinner together. Well, ours was last night, and something really special that we did this year was the MB Awards, which is what Mr. Johnson was alluding to earlier. So it's basically a funny award show where the awards don't really mean all that much, but it's really fun for all the kids there. And if you all have ever seen The Office, it's much like the Dundies in that show. So the awards consisted from everything from most demerits given out to most likely to be late to advisory. Well, I won the award for most likely to have their last name mispronounced at graduation. It's Raznicki. I know it's hard, but that's what it is. So when I told my mother about this prestigious award that I had won, she jumped out of her bed with excitement and gave me a big hug. So you can only imagine when I was able to bring that little book home and show my mother that I was on the front cover what her reaction was. Her expression was pure happiness, and as the tears ran down her face, I knew this was going to be one of the most special moments of my life. But my journey at the school started long before becoming the Service Club president. It started as me being a wide-eyed, scared 7th grader. When I would tell people where I went to school, they would all tell me how amazing MBA was and how fortunate I was to go there. And I believed them. But back then, I didn't really know what all that was about. It wasn't until years later that I really understood and figured it out. So what I know now, and what all of you here know today, is that MBA is so special because of how it shapes boys into men. It doesn't shape us into men by its tough middle school teachers or seemingly impossible classes. MBA shapes us by the opportunities it provides us to figure out who we are and who we want to be in the future. I was able to find myself through service. I volunteered for basically every project I could during my time here. And the one project that opened my eyes to who I could be was urban housing solutions. This is the project that helped me find my passion for helping others. I realized that I can make a positive impact in hundreds of people's lives. I raised money, bought and delivered food, and most importantly, I became friends with the people that I served there. I was also able to find an amazing mentor who taught me what it really meant to be a leader. For me, it was service, but for many of your boys, it was probably something completely different. This school allowed me to make incredible memories, find long-lasting friendships, and get into my dream school of Wake Forest. For those things, I will forever be thankful to MBA. Thank you. Love you, Mama.
For the record, I butchered his last name myself, so he won that award honestly. And the guys want to take off, so one more round of applause for these guys. So I'm proud of their speeches and their ability to speak publicly. MBA did not provide that kind of these kind of opportunities for us to speak when I was at MBA, and you're going to see shortly that they're infinitely better speaker than I am. We've improved quite a bit over the last 20 years. I hate to begin, and so what I'm going to do now is just give you a general update on the school, and I hate to begin the way every speech has begun the last year, and that is, unprecedented times and all that stuff. But we can't ignore where we've been to know where we're going. And while last year, the 2020-2021 year certainly presented incredible challenges, I think at this point in time, I'm proud to stand up here and tell you we've prevailed. And a little bit more commentary on where we've been and what we've been through and then where we're going. So we began the year, Dr. Boyd and Mark Tips and others. Really, our summer was not fun. We spent the entirety of it trying to figure out how to actually have a school and honor all the COVID protocols. And Dr. Boyd and Mark Tips did a fabulous job. We started school in a hybrid mode, you may recall. It seems like years ago, but half the kids would come on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and the others would be virtual, and then we'd flip-flop, and we did that for roughly three or 4 weeks, Tim? 4 weeks? Yeah. And we had assembly in our advisory. Many of y'all know that we have advisories, and that's where assemblies were held remotely. And Brad has always felt very strongly about getting everybody in the same room together at some point in time during the school week, and we were missing that. And we had to spread out. We had tents outside, which we hated. We pushed lunch outdoors. The kitchen staff did an incredible job. And if any current, and how many are current parents in the room now, just out of curiosity? We've got a handful. If anyone thinks that we were having fun doing all this, you're wrong. It was not fun. And on top of all that, I debated whether or not to go down this road, but I think you need to get a full flavor of what we experienced. There's a crew coach by the name of Rich Kessler, who's one of the finest human beings you'll ever meet. And in late November, Rich lost his son, Bryce. 6 days later, Jonathan Kramer lost his wife. Rich lost his son, Bryce. Jonathan Kramer, 6 days later, lost his wife, Sarah. 12 days later, a friend of mine, 1980 graduate, Joe Davis, died. In April, we lost a 2018 graduate, Ford Ray, and his brother Alex graduated in 2020. 9 days later, we lost a teacher, Joe Sharble, in a hideous motorcycle accident. And then just this week, a 2017 graduate, Sam Garrett, who attended our shotgun banquet on Tuesday night and was an honoree of that banquet, died the next morning. And so, on top of COVID, we've been through all that. So that's enough of the sad part. We're going to get to the happy part. So I'm extremely proud of the faculty and staff and students and MBA community for rallying to get us where we are today. So we stand in this beautiful building, which frankly it sort of saved the day. We opened it up in January. It enabled Tim and Mark to rethink how we spread everybody out. We started to have lunch inside. We had classrooms in the field house. We started to have assemblies half at a time, 50% in here, and that helped a great deal. And so we started to see light at the end of the tunnel. Tim could better quote on this, but at one point in time during the peak of the COVID, I would say we might have had 70 students or so out with COVID. Fast forward to today, I think we've been a couple weeks of having either 0 or 1 case. And so the fact that you're all in here today, 150 plus, is a great sign. We are extremely happy to have y'all here, and we hope this is the beginning of the end in a favorable way. The events that we are able to hold, so back to the beginning of the year and where we are, the football games, we had to limit fans. I know people were frustrated with that. The development office, we're trained to interact with people. We had to stay upstairs in our attic and simmer. We simply did not have many events at all. Fast forward to today, I don't know if anyone went to the lacrosse game this weekend, anybody? There was, is Kitsy here? I know you were there. We had a huge crowd of students. I mean, I don't know if there's a couple hundred students went there, and it was almost like we're back to old times, and we won a state championship. We're having this event today. We had a abbreviated or sort of a mini version of the father-son dinner. We had a mother-son breakfast, which I know many of y'all remember how special that is. And 2 weeks from today, we will hold our 154th graduation on the quad where it's been in the past with solid attendance. I think right now we're thinking each graduating senior is going to invite 8 people, and we may tweak that as rules change between now and then. So, moving along, I should have introduced myself. I'm Jody Johnson. I'm the Director of Alumni and Development. I told you that I didn't get speaking training when I was at MBA. But I am going to take advantage of the fact that I am the Director of Alumni and Development to introduce some of my staff that are here. Camellia Howarth is over here with Dr. Boyd. If you could wave to the crowd, Camellia. And then back in the back, Langan Coleman, who organized this event and all our events. To put things in perspective, on a good year, and this is unbelievable, the table is accusing me of exaggerating on Cooper's hours, but I think that's what was reported last night. It's roughly 1,000 a year for 4 years. We, on a good year, will hold over between 200 and 300 events that we do throughout the course of a year, which is at least an event a day, often too, and we have not been able to do that. Langan is the mastermind behind all that. And I think Kristen Pate is back there as well. Kristen helps with the capital campaign. And Lee Adams is right there. She's in charge of alumni relations. So when your kids, those of you with college-age kids, when they come back and say, I don't know what I'm doing, and you suggest to them that they contact MBA and maybe we could help, Lee's your person, and we want to hear from the boy and not you, okay? That's very helpful in this process. I should real quickly update you. I mentioned Kristen, the capital campaign. We began a capital campaign to do this. We've been talking about this for a long time. When I know, where's Penny? Penny still with us? Penny Hudson? When my kids were at Oak Hill, she's hiding from us. When my kids were at Oak Hill, NBA was talking about doing this, and I thought, oh, this is great. My kids will get to enjoy it. And my oldest is 27 and the other's 26, and that didn't happen. This has been that long in planning all this. But we began this capital campaign July 1st, 2014, which is 7 years ago. We have 2 more years to go. We've raised about $212 million. People think we got the gift and that was it. We've raised more than the gift itself. The gift was $103 million. We've raised another $109 million. We've raised $2 million in the last month. We're hoping to get to 250 or so before we put a bow on it, which will be June 30th, 2023. Enough of the development plug. Summer camps are very important to MBA. Some really high number of our 7th graders all have been to summer camp. The pent-up demand, I keep mentioning, a product of COVID. When we turned the spigots on to register for the camps, we quickly were overwhelmed. I think mothers were signing up for camps for everything. They signed their husbands up for camps, themselves up for camps. So these numbers are a little bit stale, but a couple of weeks ago, at this point, we had 3,200 registrants for camps. And at this point in 2019, 2 years ago, we had about 2,000, so it was up 61%. So camps are big, and having this facility makes the camp business even more attractive. And how many of your sons went on a Wilson grant of any type? I mean, look at that. It's amazing. One of the best things NBA does are these Wilson grants. And so we're starting to push on those a little bit. They won't be in full force this summer, but we are going to ease into that again. At this point in the year, all our kids have pretty much figured out college. And I'm not going to list all the colleges that the kids are going to, but I'll name a few just that may pique some interest. University of Pennsylvania, Gettysburg, and these are not necessarily the best colleges. I just find them to be both interesting and diverse. Boston University, Princeton, University of Denver, Carnegie Mellon, Roanoke College, Dartmouth, Duke, Washington Lee, Harvard, Brigham Young, Yale, Virginia Military Institute. Lacrosse players got a scholarship there. Holy Cross and USC, Southern Cal. We always send a few out there. Notre Dame, Georgetown, and Michigan. I mentioned we had the father-son dinner in here. Kirk Herbstreit spoke. He was supposed to speak 2 years ago when the world came to an end, and he and Mark Tips did a great job for our father-son dinner. Some of you may have attended the mother-son breakfast. We had a speaker named H.K. Derryberry who I think hit another home run. I should give a shout out to the spaghetti supper moms, Kara Cruz and Mary Sensing. We weren't able to have a spaghetti supper, but they still managed to raise as much money as we ever do with virtual events and to-go spaghetti supper. So shout out to them. And Paige Hill is president of the Mothers Club. I doubt she's in here now. She could be. Is Paige in here? She has a college-age student. Paige has crushed it, wouldn't you say, Camellia? Keeping everything up in the air and doing it with a great attitude. I mentioned commencement is June 3rd. Alice Randall is the speaker. Some of you may know Alice Randall. She's a Vanderbilt professor and best-selling author. To flex a little bit, we still do very well in all the extracurricular activities, specifically math counts, mock trial, debate. We have all-state performers in theater and music. We've won 4 state championships so far this year. We hope there are more. We won riflery just shortly before Joe Sharble died in that accident. We won lacrosse last weekend. We won basketball, and we won hockey. And we have a real good chance at soccer coming up. We hadn't lost a game there. And tennis is still in the running as well as track and field. And we had 2 All-American wrestlers. Some of you may remember Dominic Fisher. He's got 2 twin brothers here. They're sophomores. And one of them won the state in his division, and they're both All-Americans. Let's see, let me just wet my mouth. On the admissions front, many of you might be interested in this topic. The demand is off the charts. People are moving to Nashville, and we've had to rethink the process because they don't necessarily move to Nashville around our admissions calendar. They tend to bail out of wherever they are at non-conventional times, and these are great families with very bright kids, and it's a combination of things. We're getting some apps a lot from California, New York, Illinois, and there are people that are frustrated where private schools aren't back, and their children are academically inclined, and they've missed a whole year. And so we get new requests every week. We have 161 students coming in next year, 129 7th graders, 8 8th graders. And you'll see these numbers reflect some of what I'm talking about, 19 9th graders, 3 10th graders, and 3 11th graders. They're coming from 31 different zip codes, 44 different schools. 6 kids currently are coming from out of state. The top feeder schools remain Oak Hill. We have 31 boys coming there. Harding, 20. St. Paul, 15. Ensworth, 15. John Trotwood Moore, 9. And Meigs, 7. Of the incoming students, 34 of them are little brothers. 31 are children of alums. 12 are both a little brother and a child of an alum. And then there are 3 children of staff of either MBA or Harpeth Hall. I mentioned Steve's retirement. Angela Power is also retiring. Those of you that know Angela, be sure and give her a shout out. She's been here 23 years. And I'm going to conclude with going forward. The golf tournament we typically do in about a month. It's going to be in October this year. We're hoping, many of you have children in colleges or working in big cities like New York or Washington or Atlanta or out west. We plan on resurrecting the out-of-town alumni events. They're always well attended. The chef dinner, many of you have been to, who's been to chef dinner? Yeah, a lot of people love those chef dinners. We're hoping to resurrect that as well. And I'd like to conclude by raising a toast to Brad Joyah's health, to the mothers of alumni, and to returning to normalcy. All right. So that's all we got. And I'm deliberately not going to open the floor to questions and answers for fear we never leave. Oh, most importantly, many of y'all have done a tour, either before this. There's several of us available to lead tours now. And if this time frame does not work, please call and we will do a tour whenever you would like. We're dying to show you around. So stick around for tours if you like. If you can't, let me know and we'll set something up. Thank you.